Hey, morning, everybody. Michelle is here. It is Sunday, one of my favorite days, Sunday, um, the 15th of April, 2023. And I just want to come through and just share some thoughts I've had based on some of the information I'm reading online and based on the stuff I'm studying and blah, blah, blah. Okay, what comes up is in my mind right now is destiny, right? Destiny, or what's destined for you, right? Um, and a lot of people get really, I think they get a little confused about what that means and how it happens. And we in most cases, we always feel as though it's outside of us, that our destiny is always outside of us, and that our destiny is determined by this and that and the other. And based on what I'm studying and based on my meditation and this and that and the other, that's not true at all. You create your destiny. Now, if everything was all equal, just think about this and be a bit open to this and be a bit creative about what I'm about to say. Don't necessarily believe anything I'm saying. And that's what I'm hoping, and others that are assisting, to take people away from beliefs. Just suspend your beliefs for a moment and see if you can open yourself up to other possibilities. Now, if in my opinion, if everything was all equal, meaning if we had been working on our consciousness, working on our psyche, instead of worrying so much about our materialism and all these other factors outside of us, we would accept a destiny. We would accept a something that's destined for us. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in my opinion, as I've said, we do reincarnate. Now, whether people want to accept that or not, that is going to be up to the individual. Okay, no one, and anyway, no one can convince you of that anyway, right? The only way that you'll get close to understanding the process of reincarnation is through meditation. So if you're not meditating, of course you're going to suspend that idea of reincarnation. You're not going to even accept it at all, and that's because you're like I said, you're still stuck in those beliefs, and and that's fine. That's going to have to be the way it is. Like I said, we can't. A lot of us creatives and people that are assisting people in evolving their consciousness, we're not going to have time to be swimming around in that and people's in their beliefs and trying to convince them, because that's not our job anyway. Everything is free will. Everything is free will. Either you accept it or not and move on and be fine with it. Now, destiny. If all things were equal, okay, like I said during my meditation, of course there's a destiny. And of course there's something destined for you, right? Because over the course of time, like I said, with the reincarnation, that's why you come in with different type of personalities. You come in with different type of personalities. Okay, sometimes you'll come in as a man, sometimes you'll come in as a woman, or some, and there are other factors that create the human being. Okay, but what severs it, of course, as I said, is overpopulation, because everything is energy. And energy is started in our thoughts. The energy of our thoughts is what creates the destiny, or what creates what is destined for you. So, and because we have not been taught these kind of things, through the course of space and time, there have been messengers that have been coming through. We all know that. We know what messengers are. We know what prophets are. So let's not spend too much time on that and attempting to um, convince people of that. We know that is a genuine concept, or a genuine process, that you do need messengers. Messengers are teachers. So we all know what teachers are, but we just have expanded them into other irrelevant terms. Some people call them prophets, some people call them this, and some people call them that. Some people even call them gods. And that's a contradiction, especially if we agree that God is energy. That means that no human being can be calling themselves gods. Is that correct if you think about it logically? But we'll get off of that. So, if everything were equal, as I see it and as I meditate on it, Yes, you create your destiny. You create what's destined for you. And in some cases you do that with another person. So what do I mean by that? Well, you can over the course of space and time have destined to do certain things with a particular individual. And that means over the course of several lifetimes you align yourself up with that person. You destined with that person. And so you come together with that person and you continue the process of evolution of the consciousness. You continue the process of teaching. You continue the process of this, and you can do that with a group of people. A group of people can destine or have a future event that they have in mind, and a future connection will develop throughout space and time, throughout reincarnation of different type of personalities. So, but like I said, if you are stuck in beliefs, you're not going to accept that at all, and that's fine. You don't need to, and it doesn't matter anyway, because if you start doubting the process of how things are done, or doubting any type of information that's given to you, then that means you just need to work on it more and get to a point of where you are comfortable in accepting what that information is. All because someone give you information doesn't mean you need to take it, and it doesn't mean you need to, you can ask questions of people when they give you information, but it's kind of illogical to be arguing with them, especially when it's all free will. It's all free information. You know, if does it resonate? If it doesn't, okay, bye bye. And so that's where we've wasted a whole lot of time with the social media. Instead of just letting people, have their opinions and theories, we would rather sat there and argue with them about it, and arguing, going back and forth and back and forth. And we wasted almost 10 years. I mean, well, since the invention of social media, I think 90% of the time it was misused. Social media should have meant a lot more than what it means now. And so now we just have to reverse some of it as best we can. Reverse some of these elements of what social media means, because what it did is severed a whole lot of people in their quest to be aligned, okay, to be elevating in their consciousness, to be rising in their vibrational. Instead everything's severed and people are going backwards. Okay, and that there's clear evidence of people being, instead of evolving, they're devolving. There's plenty of evidence of that, plenty. And so yes, there is a destiny that has that creates itself over the course of space and time, where there will be a group of people, materializing in different type of personalities, though, but then they'll come together with the same ideas, and that's the like-mindedness I talked about. Okay, and then you can also have that same kind of destiny with a person, an individual, where you two have decided, okay, we are over the course of space and time are going to always hook up together in an intimacy or in a closeness or something like that. It happens. But like I said, because of our severance, since we severed all type of relationships with each other, and it's based on our thoughts and our consciousness, we weren't involved in that. We're not going to, over half of people are not going to accept that. They're going to keep trying to force it, using a lot of force, and on being very extreme about it, instead of letting it naturally materialize itself. Now, so those of us who, it's only a few people, and I don't know, I don't even know how many, but there's only so many people that have gone past the obvious of the vision, the hearing, and the feeling, and they've gone into their sensing and receiving, which is on a spiritual level, and those are the people that can pick up this type of information. Okay, and their responsibility is to disseminate it the best way they can, to people, and share it with people. And that's what creatives do. That's why people who are creatives, they can do that. they can pick up these type of energies and recreate it into something that's beneficial for society or for humanity, either through music. Music is the best way. I mean, music not is the best way, but music is the most effective, because that, they can go through space and time. Sound, it can penetrate through space and sound. So that's why it's in a voice, the harmonious voice of certain people, the harmonious sound in instruments, and this and that and the other. And then of course it becomes because sound and instruments it's all energy. It just comes out in a certain form, to where we can hear it, sense it, and feel it. Because that's what it is about certain type of sound. It penetrates all throughout, all throughout, and that's why it affects people in so many different ways. I mean, you can see music, you can hear music, you can feel it, and most definitely sense it and receive it. Now, so to recap, you do, if you are properly uh, uh, evolving yourself, because there are some people in the midst of everything, there's always going to be someone doing what they're supposed to do, even though the majority of the planet may not be. There's always going to be groups of people doing what they're supposed to do and handling their business. If they have a mission in mind, they stay focused on their mission. They don't get too deterred by what else is going on outside of them. There could be war right next door to them, and they can still continue with their mission and continue to be unfazed by all of that. But unfortunately, when you have an overpopulated planet, it affects the sensing and receivers too. We get affected by that, by war and interference, especially, and nuclear weapons and this and that and the other. All right, it affects the sensors and receivers just as much and more so. Okay, so again, so your destiny can have, you can have a destiny can be thought up over the course of millions of years, over the course of thousands of years, over the course of 100 years. You can forecast a future you hope to attain. Okay, but by staying in the here, by staying in the now, and just look out and say, okay, this is what can be possible. This is what can be certain for me. But stay in the now to make sure you are making it certain that it will come. You don't want to spend too much time in the future. Remember I said that. And you definitely don't want to spend too much time in the past, because you can get yourself stuck there. So I hope that makes sense. In other words, you can plan with a particular type of energy and so forth to always align up with the same type of person in different personalities. The same type of energy of a person in a different personality, to where you're destined to be together, or you're destined to work towards a goal together as like-mindedness. I hope that makes sense. And it's a beautiful thing, meaning, you're going to, in some form or fashion, you're going to meet up with someone that you've had a type of relationship with in previous lifetimes, and you're going to come together with that person. So that's a constellation for some people to evolve yourself, raise your vibration, and accept that. Isn't that a wonderful thing? More so than believing, and because belief creates fear and uncertainty. Because you believe in it might happen, and you're like tight. You know what I mean? Inflexible. And a lot of people don't want. And you notice sometimes when you're that way, most people don't want to be around you, because that energy is kind of draining. That energy drains people when you're so belief, and you're so tight, and you're so inflexible, and you want to be right. Nobody wants to be around that, especially now. There's just way too much at stake right now. Again, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, February 3rd, 2029. Before you know it, that will hit us. And a lot of people were saying, well, what's going to happen? Well, if you're not creating a lot of certainty in your life, and attempting to evolve yourself, then I sense that you're just going to be in constant you're going to be constantly in deja vu, deja vu, repeating the same type of misery and suffering, or whatever the case may be, where you're not going anywhere. And I know a lot of people want to move up and get out of some of this stuff that they got their heads stuck in. Get out of some of these situations that keeps happening over and over and over again, where you keep ask for the same things every year. You make the same promises every year, and then you never they never materialize, or come to bear. All right, so I hope that makes sense, and I hope that brings some comfort to people, that if you're meditating and doing everything you're supposed to do, you are going to come out on top. All right, you may not see it, you may not hear it, you may not feel it, and but you will be developing the sensing and receiving of the spiritualness of it all. And one day you're going to wake up, like I said, and you're going to be living your dreams. And you're going to say, this is unreal. Or you're going to be living your nightmares. All right? So I want to send peace and love all over. Everybody enjoy your Sunday. And I might be back later. We'll see.